What's up, guys? This is episode 3, Davidson Simulation. I have my good buddy Sage Pemberton here today. How's it going?
Good, dude. So do I look at you or do I look at the camera?
Don't look at the camera.
Okay, you were just looking at the camera.
Don't look at the camera.
Yeah, don't look at the camera. I'm glad that I can't see. Like, there's that little flip out. I'm glad I can't see myself.
Yeah, it's just I'm gonna get like a 4K monitor up here so you can see yourself. So I wanted to talk to you about so the past 3 years I've worked with Real and Budweiser, and I'll be doing some more gigs this year. And Sage is my go-to guy. Real is a Major League Soccer team. It's our team here in Utah. And Sage is my go-to guy when it comes to making sure I get everything, getting all the shots and stuff. So we have a game that's going to be in about a month, I think. Which game did KC?
I don't know.
Kansas City?
It was sometime in June.
In Kansas City. Were you at the one last time?
With Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like a pretty good rival, right?
Yeah, they're like probably known as.
Is Columbus Crew a rival, or are they just kind of crazy? Or
like anything? The team or the fans?
Both.
I wouldn't call them a rival of RSL.
Okay.
But
I'm trying to figure out. I feel like I went to a game with them once or something, but I don't know. I think they just stuck in my brain because I remembered them. But I know KC. Is it KC United?
Or
just Kansas City United?
It's Sporting Kansas City.
Okay.
So it's SKC.
Okay. So that'll be the game we're going to, and that's gonna be like end of June or something. And I wanted to like go through like the breakthrough or break down like what we get to do when we go shoot those.
So fun.
So pretty much like when we go and shoot these, it's usually for like a sponsored post on my Instagram or delivering content to them for their stuff. And basically going into it, I usually don't have a huge plan. Like I kind of try to like just try to get as many highlight clips as we can, and then just try to like mash it and throw it on a wall and see if it fits.
Yeah. But
Sage has been there where he has helped me like film like vlog content and help me not miss goals.
I try. I don't know if it works.
Well, so tell me about, or tell our guest about.
You want me to out you on this one again?
Yeah, tell me about the time that the last game we went to, the one where we.
Didn't it kind of happen twice?
Oh, it's happened many times. Well, so break it down. What happens usually?
So I mean, we've been how many times together? Twice or 3 times? Just twice, right?
I think twice. Yeah.
Okay,
2
so
or 3
like
times.
I don't know. You're kind of like, oh, tell me where the best action would be, or who's best to watch, or which side and stuff like that. And I mean, I've been to enough games, I kind of know, and I've played soccer my whole life, so I kind of like know the best angles sometimes.
Well, and you know all the players on our
true.
Team and the away team usually, so it's like you know what players are.
I'm a
like,
nerd.
Yeah. Well, like you know the players like that are gonna go at it, like you said. Beckerman,
When
someone else he was playing versus, they like always get
Benny Fehlhaber.
Yeah,
they're both in the midfield. They hate each other.
Yeah,
they play on the national team together, but they've been on opposing teams forever. I mean, he doesn't play for Kansas anymore, but they always just get so chippy with each other.
Well, and that's what the game that you mentioned that I was recording them, and I remember like they were like getting each other's faces and stuff, and I was like, holy crap, like
he was right.
Yeah. So you're like my go-to guy, and like even like if it's like almost halftime or whatever, like you always know which way, like where to be on the field, which is like key to getting footage and stuff, you know. But yeah, so break down.
I'm glad my knowledge is useful for something.
Anyways,
I think at some point the biggest one was the second game we went to. We went like up the top section in the second half, right? And we were up there, and I think we finally got a goal, because every time we would go, you would miss the goal somehow. Right. Because like you'd be filming something else.
It's literally 1 second of like how an hour and a half, right? 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
So it's like once like maybe 10 seconds.
Because 90% of the game, you're filming the players, you're filming the action and everything. Right. But then here and there, you're trying to get other little bits. And
we move around.
And we're moving. Yeah, we're trying to get different angles. And so for some reason, you
really good
always missed the goals. Like, you would get the other team scoring or something, but we would be walking to the next section, like, hurrying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we'd hear the whole crowd start cheering.
It's like the worst feeling because, like, it's like if there's been a couple games where we've left and, like, we didn't get a goal. And it's like the video's decent and it's good, like, footage, but you don't get a goal shot. And the goal shot's, like, the climax of the film, you know, like the video. And so, like...
Yeah, so there's nothing to lead up to for for the story you're developing.
And I know the last game we went to, it was actually... That was a good game, or I think it's the same one. The one where we met up with my buddy, McKay.
Wow.
And my buddy McKay has been working with Real as, like, one of the big camera guys where he's, you know, he'll put you on the big screen. And, like, we went up to the top level and, like, got to see behind the scenes, which was super cool. But I remember, so we were up top and there was, like, all these rowdy kids behind us. And I'm pretty sure I got that goal because it was like because they went crazy and you got it all on the vlog footage of them. Like the kid took his shirt off and stuff. But, like, I remember getting that shot because it's like a down, like, compressed shot with a big lens.
Right.
But yeah, then we, like, walked down and we're behind the bleachers, and you just hear the whole crowd, like, rah, cheering, and it's like, well, what did you, like...
I can't remember.
You told me to, like...
Something happened. I think you were pretty, like, content or whatever, and I was like, no, there's, like, 5 minutes left or something, and so I was like, do you want to run? And you're like, no, we're good. And so we just kept walking.
Well, right before that, we kind of heard cheering.
Oh, that's right.
And you were like, should we run? And I was like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
you can hear it start to, like, escalate a little bit. And that usually means that we're attacking. And I was like, dude, should we run? And you're like, nah.
Well, it's like, I think in my brain, I just figured they were, like, doing the wave or, like...
Because we could have, we were, like, coming around the back, but we could have ran up to this section where we could see the field.
Yeah, we could have for sure got the shot.
But we kept going around.
And I should have listened to my...
good.
I should have listened to my advisor.
Resident soccer nerd expert.
But, yeah, those are
so fun, though.
Yeah, those are some fun times. It's crazy because we've both played soccer forever. You've played more than I have. You've played college.
Yeah.
What was college like when you played soccer? Did you guys drilled, like, every day or, like, 2 days, right? Or, like...
Yeah, so it depends on the time of the season.
Okay.
Like, before the season started in the fall, we would show up, you know, like, midsummer and have, like, 3 weeks of preseason or something like that.
Okay.
Where before classes start, where we're doing 3 days. And so we would get up at 6 a.m.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
3 days, that's so much running.
Yeah, it is a lot of running because we would have the different sessions, right? Like, morning session at 6 a.m. would be, you know, conditioning.
Right.
For an hour and a half, just straight, just killing it.
How much do you think you ran in a day? You probably ran.
Lot.
Yeah. You probably ran, like,
is that a fair
20 miles.
assessment? I don't know. Maybe not quite 20 daily. It depended on the day. I mean, maybe.
I mean, think about running for 1 hour is probably, like, at least 3 miles.
Well, because I know, like, in professional soccer, they say that the average player out there runs anywhere from, like, 4 to 9 miles per game. Really? I think average is somewhere around, like, 6 or 7 miles per game, depending on your position.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
that's
somewhere
crazy.
Around there. But we were doing conditioning for an hour and a half, and then, you know, in the daytime it was like tactical, kind of more like get your touches
like
on the
drills
ball
and stuff.
Yeah, and then in the evening we would do scrimmages, which all of that consists of running in some form.
Seriously, that's crazy.
So, I don't know.
Well, so what would you say is, like, the difference between high school versus college? Like, was it pretty competitive in college? Like,
I mean, full disclosure, I only played I only played, like, JUCO ball.
What's that?
So there's the NCAA, right, which is the top of the top sports. They have like the ones you see on ESPN.
Is that National College?
Something association.
Okay.
Where's your fact checker, dude? Jamie,
pull it up.
Jamie. Well, I should know this. I don't know. If I thought harder, I probably would. But so there's the NCAA, which has the Division I. So NCAA is top, and they have, like, D1, which is all the major teams, you know, like Duke and Stanford, whatever. All the top ones that have all the best programs. And then you have, like, NCAA Division 2, Division 3, probably Division 4.
Okay.
And then under that, you have the NJCAA. So
okay.
like junior colleges, basically. Because my school was only a 2-year school.
So you wouldn't.
It wasn't a 4-year school.
You wouldn't be playing versus like.
No.
Okay.
No.
But,
so
well, still, like it has to be a pretty different.
It
like,
was
level up.
It was
right?
competitive, yeah. And then in between there, actually, there's like NAIA and stuff. There's a whole bunch of different
like brackets and
divisions
stuff.
and whatnot. But I mean, even with junior college, you have D1, D2, and I was like Division 1.
Right.
So, but it's still, it's a different level of competitive. There was a lot of really competitive teams in there, and we still have national championships for that and stuff.
Right.
And you still do a whole scholarship thing, and there's really, really good players that come through, but usually that's more of like a, kind of a transition area, like period. Like players will come through there, and the good ones can transfer up more.
Did you ever play like any kids that are now like pushing the limits pretty big, or like that are in like that top tier area, or even like professional?
Yeah, so I had a few players on my team that were like super, super good, and we could even tell.
I think I remember you telling me, weren't there some kids that were from like Europe or something?
Yeah, we had kids from all over. That was the best part of being over there. Was, I mean, we were in the middle of nowhere land, Nebraska, and we still had kids. Like my first year, our captain was from Northern Ireland. My two other roommates, I had 3 roommates. One was one of my best friends. You remember Joe? He was from Sierra Leone, refugee. And then my other 2 roommates were from Manchester and Newcastle in the UK.
That's crazy.
And then we had a kid from Sao Paulo, Brazil. We had a kid from Bolivia.
That's so
all
wild.
Over the States.
Like they literally grew up in like these crazy different countries.
It was awesome. That was my favorite part.
Did you guys just like, even when you weren't in practice, still play? Were you playing in your apartment?
I mean, that was our life. Yeah, we literally did. There was a room in our hallway.
Stuff.
There was a room in our dorms in our hallway. I forgot about this. That was empty, and we were buddies with one of the RAs. The guy that like ran the hall basically.
Yeah.
And because he was on our team, and so he was the RA, the resident assistant, and so he had the key to the room and stuff. And somebody left early for the semester or something, so there was a whole room they were like, you go in and there's a connecting room and there's a room here and a room here.
Okay.
Right. So it fits 2 in here and 2 in here.
Right.
And so 2 of these guys were on our soccer team, and the other room was empty because they had left early.
Yeah.
And so our RA was just like, yeah, you guys go in, do whatever you want. And so we went in there, and it was just the chill room for a while. And at one point, it was probably me, but I figured out that I would get the mattress and put it in between the room, and we had a little soccer tennis court in this tiny little dorm room. And so we get everybody over, and we just crammed in, and there'd be like 4 of us or 2 of us, and we would just pop the ball with our feet up and over and try to get each other out. Kind of. It's like tennis. Like have you ever played soccer tennis? No. It's just on a tennis court with the lines, but you're using your feet and your knees.
Is there a net still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're just chipping it over?
Yeah, so it's basically the same concept. You just can't
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So you try to get it in the spot where they can't return it to you.
Right.
And you can play different ways.
That's like a really good, I feel like that's a great drill.
Dude, it's awesome.
Like,
it gets for anybody that plays soccer, it's great to get good touches on the ball and stuff.
That's what I want to say. So say there's someone listening that's either wants to play high school or thinking about college sports, is there anything that you have learned or like something that you could advise them to do? Like whether it's like physical, like training, or I don't know. Is there anything you can think of?
Like college, like soccer in specific, or just college sports in general?
I would say maybe just college sports in general, or both.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I'm the greatest advocate for this. I didn't go too far up there. I mean, I enjoyed my time, and I got a scholarship for a 2-year school.
Well, I mean, you got to college, which is...
Yeah, I guess that's more than
and even high school. Like, that's a pretty big accomplishment. Yeah. I didn't get that in school.
Yeah, but you didn't really want to, did you?
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you try out?
No, I didn't try out.
Yeah, see? You probably would have made it. You were pretty good.
I remember talking to some of the kids that were... I think they knew the coach or something, and like even just one conversation with one of the kids that like totally put me off. And I say that, but in reality, if I could go back, I would, if I could go back, I'd for sure try out, just because I kind of regret not doing it.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But so let's just say high school then, like, because you played all high school, right? 3 years?
Yeah. I actually didn't make it my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
I was tiny.
So yeah, well, see, that's a good example. So you didn't make it freshman year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that sucked, right?
Yeah.
So say somebody's trying out, obviously, like, persevere and stuff, but what did you do anything different, or do you think you just got more notice next time, like sophomore year, or?
Yeah, I think, like, honestly, a big thing was like my size. I probably got I didn't get bigger. I was tiny in high school, but probably just I just refined my skills.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine you probably networked a little bit more too. You probably got to know people on the team, or.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Like, for high school especially, they, for the most part, I don't know how it is like in the rest of the country, but they're usually always doing, drills or getting the team together, team bonding, conditioning all through winter leading up to spring tryouts. Right. And that's huge, because I would go to every single one of those. And even my brother just huge. Made the high school team. And
really?
And he doesn't
sick.
He's good, but he's not the most skilled player on the team or anything. Right. But he was so dedicated to going to every single one.
That's
and
crazy.
Putting effort into meeting all the players and everything. And so then by the end, the coach was like, look, there's a lot of guys that aren't the greatest, but have clearly been putting forth more effort than most of the guys that were already on the team. Right. And like, that doesn't go unnoticed.
Well, and that's what I think for me, that was kind of part of it too. Cause I remember like finding out the week before tryouts, like, oh, like everybody already kind of knows each other because they've been training all winter. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know any of these people. That's huge. And like, that is like, cause you're getting your foot in the door. You're also showing how committed you are, and you're also networking, and you're helping your coach essentially build a team and a community. Yeah. And that's what you did,
Yeah. I mean, I guess it essentially is networking.
Yeah, that's like key. That's like killer.
It is. You're getting to know the teammates. It's effort. It's showing that you want to be there, and that's everything to a good coach.
Well, and that's what, it's essentially you showed more effort than I did, and you made it, and I backed away because I was kind of like, I was put off by it. But that's like a huge example, learning lesson.
Well, yeah, and I mean, in its simplest form, if they got two players that are on the verge and they're like, do we take this guy or this guy? They're both the same talent-wise. Like, who wanted it more? Who showed up? Yeah. Who showed up? Who was the most passionate? For sure. Who is going to be the best cog in this team for, and just, like,
good looks.
Being, that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't know. Just being a good team player, I think, is huge too, because there's way too many guys that are so self-absorbed.
Yeah, that was like the big thing. It was like the kid that I was talking to was like, I already made it. I don't have to worry about it.
I hate that.
And he ended up making it. But I was like, just hearing that, I was like, I don't know.
Just like turns you off. Huh?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, eh. But yeah, I think just showing that you are even a leader in like your own space, it goes like a lot farther than people imagine. And that's what's interesting too. Like in high school, you don't really think about, or at least for me, like I don't think I was mature enough in high school to kind of think about that stuff. Like I was too worried about like acting or whatever. I wasn't thinking about like how do I lead my group of friends or whatever. And I think some people like in high school, and that's where you see like your SBOs and people like that, where they are kind of, I don't know if it's more like they're naturally just kind of into that, or like they're more, I guess it's more just like they're more outgoing. Right. But that's where you see like popular kids, usually they're better at socializing and networking, That's at least like when in Alta, it was like most of the kids that were popular, it was kind of like they would always go up and talk to people, Yeah. And that's like, for me, it was like crippling. Like I didn't want to talk to anybody, But I
mean, it's not all networking too, because there's plenty of super, self.
Yeah, you can't talk the whole game, and like you got to have some skill. You got to have some,
I don't know, because there's a lot of like quiet people that don't do it. I mean, and they're better than anybody else. Like skill is most of it,
sure,
obviously. And I think, to go back to your previous question, I think like one of the biggest things is just repetition, obviously. Yeah. Like focusing on the basics or the fundamentals and getting that down, because I think that's probably because I'm never the biggest guy, never the fastest guy, but I really focused on my touch. Like I was always playing all the time.
Well, yeah, like I remember.
So it was kind of just came natural.
Well, like I remember, like in junior high, like right before high school, because that's when like we played a little bit together at APA.
Yeah.
And like I remember seeing you, like just the way you played versus like myself or like other kids. I'm like, I could just see such a difference of like movement.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
It's just comfortability.
Yeah.
Because I spent more time on the ball. That's all it was.
Well, yeah, and like I remember just seeing you guys juggle, and like you guys were just like so easily hitting like such high numbers. And I remember kids would be like, "Oh yeah, like I hit 100." I'm lucky if I hit like 25, 30, you know. And like I remember like I think you hit 100 easy, right?
I don't know.
Sage, don't be humble.
Probably, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. I think it's cool because like I have cousins and like people that are trying out for high school, and it's cool to see the people that actually have that discipline and like are aware of that stuff. And like that's something I wish in high school I had, but I'm grateful that I have.
See, but you had discipline for other stuff like this photography and videography. It was just your passion, so you did it all the time until the point. I mean, maybe that was after high school.
That was kind of after high school though. Like in high school, I think I was just so like trying to figure out like what I was doing and who I was that I just didn't really think about anything else, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the majority of people. I think it's pretty normal, you know?
Because it was easy for me to be, you know, dedicated because it's just what I love to do.
Yeah.
It's what all my friends did. It's what I like to do. I mean, it's the reason, there's a reason it's the most popular sport in the world because that's all the third world countries do. It's all they have. It's all they have anything to do. They don't have anything. So they just go play from, you know, light till dark. So it's, I mean, it's how they get good.
You've been to, so have you've been to like an international game?
Yes. Like a USA international. It wasn't out of the country that I watched it.
Oh yeah. You went to
it was Arizona
World Cup, right?
No, I wish. That's like my number one and only bucket list item.
Qatar?
What?
Qatar?
No.
Qatar? No, I'm saying.
I think it's pronounced Qatar. I learned that recently.
Oh.
Like
Isn't that where the next one is?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's in 2022.
That's in like basically like Libya or like Egypt or something.
We're going to work on your geography after this.
It's one of those scary countries.
It's in the Middle East. It's not scary. It's only scary because you've never been there. And because there's some bad people that come out of it.
ISIS.
There's plenty of bad people that come out of USA.
Wait, so you're going to go?
I want to. That has been like my number one. How much is it?
Isn't it like $3,000?
Oh, way more than that. Way more than that. I mean, you have to figure in the cost of traveling alone, plus the ticket. It's like the hottest ticket you can buy every 4 years.
What about Qatar money? Qatar money. Is it cheaper there?
Qatar.
I don't think that.
I'm pretty positive. I don't know.
I'll take your word for it. You probably looked it up.
A lot of people call it Qatar, but I think I got a definitive answer that it was Qatar. It's supposed to be.
From a local.
Sure. Whatever.
Wait, so
that doesn't matter.
So what game did you go to then? You went to in Arizona, you said?
It was in Arizona. It was the...
Because I remember it being a pretty big deal.
Oh, crap. What was it? It wasn't the Gold Cup. It was basically just a tournament. It was the Copa America Cup, something like that.
Well, I remember seeing... You sent, I think, me a Snapchat or something where you guys were like going crazy.
Yeah.
Was it a pretty crazy game?
Yeah, we lost. Who did we play? Ecuador, I think. No, it was Colombia.
Wait, so it was USA versus
Colombia.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember.
It was
that
for
game.
the third place game. Man, I have a terrible memory.
Well, that was.
Anyways, it's basically like a tournament for those that don't really know soccer very much. It was just a tournament. It was a national tournament for all the teams in North and South America.
Okay.
And so USA, it was held in the US, and we played Colombia and lost. But it was still really fun because it was dope. There was tons of people, and like at halftime we went out and it was all the Colombians. That's just really what I love most about soccer is just
Colombians.
Yeah, sure. All the fans
Chile.
In general, just the environment, and everybody comes together. And we went out and it was like me and some of my college buddies, and we were all decked out in USA gear. We went to Walmart and bought all this stuff.
That'd be so fun.
Just head to toe USA, and we went out, and all the Colombians are head to toe Colombians, and it's just they live and breathe soccer.
Right.
So we went out, and we're all like chanting USA, and they're chanting Colombia, and they've got their flags, and we ended up but then we got together, and I ended up with my hands on somebody's shoulders, and we did like the circle, and like they were filming us and everything. It was just, I don't know, the passion is just, it gets me every time.
Yeah, everyone's there for the same reason.
I love it. So World Cup, I definitely am gonna go,
dude,
for sure.
Well, so when is it?
2022. It's in Qatar. It's in the Middle East. It's over by like kind of by Saudi Arabia, and then there's like there's like the UAE. It's just kind of north.
Dude, me and Chandler were talking about Saudi Arabia, like go to Dubai.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if you did that? What if you like went to Dubai and then you went over to the World Cup or something?
Is Dubai in Saudi Arabia?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We looked it up. So
okay.
I'm second guessing myself, but I'm pretty sure. Because I think it's like you have Saudi Arabia, and I think it's up here, kind of by the coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. So I'm definitely planning on doing it, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's scary," but I mean, it's scary anywhere you go. And
I don't think
maybe it might be more sketchy then when I decide to go, but also there'll be a whole like this last World Cup in
there'll be so
Russia,
much tourism.
The most tickets sold from fans were USA fans.
Really?
And we weren't even in World Cup.
And I feel like if you just have kind of, common sense and like, I mean, obviously you can find trouble wherever you go, right? Like, and it's like that's probably the best time to go because of how much tourism and like.
I mean, and I get the arguments that it's a big draw and it could be a draw for like terrorists and whatnot and stuff, but I mean, who cares? Like, I don't want to let that stop me from my biggest passion. Like, I've always wanted to go to a World Cup.
You hear the ISIS Sage will fight you.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, that'd be an insane trip.
It would just be.
I'd be down.
The trip of a lifetime.
I'll go.
Okay. Cade said he was down.
Yeah, I remember.
This means you're gonna start saving up for it right now. Sorry to squeeze your hand a little too much there.
I think I'd be down. I think if we had it like planned out and we didn't go cheap, we didn't stay in some ghetto spot.
Does that scare you?
Well, so here, so Thailand. We went to Thailand about a year ago from
transitioning.
Yeah. So me, Sage, and 7 other. There
was 8 of us total.
Okay, so quick math: six other friends.
Yep.
And we all went to Thailand for 2 weeks, and
great trip.
Yeah,
it was so fun.
It was. I've been looking at like footage and like photos from the trip, and it's like the craziest experience. But I remember going because that was the first time out of the country for me. You went. Where did you go?
Europe, Italy, Switzerland, France.
Was that for school, or you just went over there?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I used school as an excuse just to study abroad, but man, it's just kind of to get me out there. It was amazing.
Well, and that's kind of the same thing. Like I remember it was a pretty intimidating trip just because like I had never been out of the country. It's technically a third world country, right? Yeah, Thailand. Maybe. I don't know.
They're pretty developed.
Yeah.
Maybe like certain areas, certain regions of it.
Well, I remember like we were pretty intimidated, but like I feel like I've done enough stuff here in the U.S. I wasn't too worried, But I remember you weren't worried at all. Like you were. Oh,
I was
thriving. Yeah. Well, I
think it's just because I've been out of the country before.
Right.
Like I was.
The process.
I was super nervous the first time I went out of the country. Like I was excited and everything, but
right.
I mean, anything you haven't done before is going to be scary at first. But.
For sure. I think honestly the scariest or like the kind of sketchiest feeling for me was when we were at the China airport and like just kind of like the feeling of like because we didn't have any social media, like you couldn't really use your phones when we were in the airport, and like I remember just like that feeling was so like I don't know, it was like
because you hadn't felt that before.
Yeah, it was always just like connected. It was just taken away, and like all of a sudden it was like like we could literally like, and this is pretty dramatic, but like you could like end up in jail and like not be able to contact people, It just I was
your
like
mind really does just go instantly to worst case scenario.
I just like have watched too many movies, I guess.
I know you guys were hitting me with all like the, all the what if, and it's like, okay, all these hypothetical things are just from movies. Like that hardly ever happens.
It's like, what if I punch someone? Oh, well, you could go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you guys got there a day earlier than us. Wait, were you with?
This was a long time ago, almost a year. This was a year. It was a year ago.
Who did you fly over there with?
Cade, Ryan, and Marin.
Okay, and so you guys got there 12 hours before, because you guys stayed in a hotel, didn't you?
No, you guys got. Yeah. Okay, you're right.
'Cause
we had a huge layover.
Yeah.
It was like 12 hours on the way out and 16 on the way back, I think, in the Chinese airport.
And so didn't you guys go out and like explore a little bit?
Not really. I mean, if you call walking on the
Like
street
2
for 20
seconds.
minutes,
Yeah.
we tried, but by that point we were so tired because it was kind of like, I guess it was a mandatory thing because originally we had booked it. We didn't have that long of a layover.
Yeah.
But then they were required, since it got bumped and we ended up having like a 12-hour layover, there's a certain threshold. If you meet that, then the airline is required to give you a hotel for free.
Do you think that's everywhere, or do you think that's just...
I would assume so. It's probably like some regulations, FAA
Yeah.
or I don't know. Just, I mean, because, if it's out of their control, it's out of their control. But then, we had already booked the tickets.
Right.
So we have to be compensated. So anyways, we got like a temporary visa and we went to the Chinese, we went through, it was a huge maze trying to get through and trying to figure out. That was a mess.
It's so crazy how like you have that part of your trip and I don't even know.
Oh man, that was a mess because we were still kind of like disoriented from the big long,
giant 12-hour flight.
Yeah, the flight, and then we get there and it's night. We're all tired. We're hungry. Everybody's speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily there was a lot of Americans that spoke English, so we were all kind of in the same boat.
Oh right.
And so we ended up finding our way. I mean, you can always find your way. You know, you kind of just the getting there part. So we went to the hotel and then we were all starving, and so we were like, well, let's go find some food. And so we go walking in the streets of Guangzhou. None of us know any Chinese, and it's not like a super touristy area either. So it's all just locals. And we're walking down the streets, and it almost looked like a movie where we're walking down and there's like all these street booths with food, and like I literally saw cats like walking up on the tables everywhere, and everybody's just looking at us. So we go into the first restaurant we see, and we were just like, do we stand in line? Do we sit down? But there's no line, so we sit down on a table, and they roll this little cart up to us, and it's kind of got pictures, I guess, or maybe even not, I don't know, but it's just the Chinese language everywhere, and so we're just like, and so we kind of started trying to decide what we wanted, but then I was like, we should see if they actually accept card, because none of us have cash at this point. We're straight from the airport, and we weren't really planning on being there that long, and so there's no ATMs anywhere, and so we're like, card, and we show them, and they're like, no card.
Drake.
And we're like, well, we don't have any yen, so we're screwed. And they just look at us and we're like, okay, bye. So we go back to the hotel. I think we got like crackers or something, but
it was probably like the equivalent of like if you got dropped off like downtown like Salt Lake, but like on that north like airport side.
Yeah,
probably more buildings, but...
except nobody speaks your language and you don't have money.
Well, I'm saying like it was probably kind of like not ghetto, like not like sketchy ghetto, but kind of just like not the main city area.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say ghetto. Just in sensory overload.
Really?
Like, and because it's all brand new and it's just nothing comfortable or familiar. Not even the language. And that happens. It was fine. It was just we weren't quite prepared for it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But it was fun. Like, it was a good experience. And now on my little scratch off map at home, I can scratch off all of China. Because I was there for a night in a hotel. Like, if I'm just in the airport somewhere, I don't count it.
Yeah, you can't count it.
But I was there. I stayed a night in a hotel. So like half of my map is covered now.
I would love to go to China. Like,
it'd be dope. I'd want to go again, like an actual planned trip.
I think, wait, Hong Kong's not in China. That's Japan, right?
No, Hong Kong is, I don't know what they call it. It's like a subsidiary. I don't know. It's an extra area of China. It's connected to the mainland, kind of like southeast a little bit.
Okay.
But it belonged to like England or something. But it's gonna transition back over to be a part of mainland China. But the Hong Kong people are like their own.
How do you know this?
I got really into geography recently.
Really?
Dude, when I tore my Achilles and I was down for
just looking at maps?
6 months, couldn't do anything. Me and my brother got super into like looking, and we've always been into Google Earth and stuff too. Yeah. So
that's cool. Yeah,
I'm a nerd.
Well, so what would you say? Let's break it down for Thailand. What would you say was your favorite location, like city kind of way? So like Phuket and Krabi, which is southern Thailand, which is kind of where all the beaches are. Then we had like Khao Sok, which was
the national park.
We stayed in some floating bungalows on a huge lake.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
that was a good call. Like all the snafus you had of that trip, like we don't have to go into that, but like I never would have saw that if you hadn't planned that. I think that was amazing.
I think me and Joy said that on the last podcast because we talked about Iceland and how I messed up the booking. Dude,
you got a long way.
I will never book trips again, dude. It's so stressful. But okay, so Khao Sok, and then let's see, we went to Chiang Mai, and Bangkok. Which out of those would you say is kind of like your favorite? If you were to go back and say you were to stay for a week and you only had to choose one of those, which would it be?
Chiang Mai, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Chiang Mai was dope.
Chiang Mai was awesome. It just kind of had everything.
Yeah.
Well, besides the beaches, but we had already been there.
Yeah, and it was kind of like Chiang Mai it was almost like everything was within pretty good reach.
Yeah.
Like you could easily get a tuk-tuk. You could easily hit up markets.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a freaking Muay Thai boxing fight. That was
so
nuts.
Great. That was one of the coolest things I've seen.
So break down that night. What did we do?
So I think it was on a Sunday, because they have in Chiang Mai, they have these night bazaars, like markets basically, that just go on for miles. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, it just goes on forever, and it literally. Because one of the nights I remember just walking for 3 hours, and I never repeated an area. It's all just streets and streets of just pop-up booths.
And that's where you like bargain with people. That's where you can get like super cheap stuff. And like I know we got a bunch of rings, which it's funny. I don't know if I told you this, but I found those exact rings at a store down in like Sugar House, and they're selling them for like $40 each.
we got them for like what?
Maybe like $2 for like 3 rings or something.
Was it only like 60 baht? Something like that.
Yeah, like insanely cheap.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap.
But yeah, these markets are like pretty much like if you book Chiang Mai as like a place to go, you're gonna hear about the markets because they're just huge markets.
Yeah. So we did that at the first of the night.
Yeah, and this is when Cade was sick. He got food poisoning, which I'm surprised none of us. You didn't get it, right?
Mm-mm.
I had some kind of weird stomach stuff like once we got home, but it wasn't like really sick. I kind of just, I don't know. I probably just got it from here. But so Cade was back at our apartment,
hostel.
Our hostel thing, and then me and Chandler went off on our own.
Yeah, we took a tuk-tuk over to the ring.
We saw a sign earlier that day, right? Because I took a picture of it.
I think we had talked about it previously, like before the trip, like because I had seen one of the travel shows or whatever, Like, people go.
Got like
Departures, great travel show.
Yeah, you can like actually be in the ring, right? Isn't that
well, no, he was just an idiot and decided he wanted to fight this guy, and I think because they were on a TV show, they kind of did it. It just looked like a crazy experience to watch. So
the rest of the group, like all the girls, were still shopping, and that was what was cool. I think that's partially why I like Chiang Mai so much. Was like we instantly felt really comfortable. Like I felt super comfortable leaving all the girls to go off and kind of shop and do their thing. But so then keep going. So we got tuk-tuk.
Yeah, we just went over and saw the fight, and it was really cool to see because you guys, I mean, you kind of got me into like UFC a little bit too, and you guys, all of us are kind of into UFC.
We've been in like the McGregor fight era when we had been watching a bunch of like having fight nights, watching all the UFC fights.
We all watched the demise of Conor McGregor together. Pretty much. I think I pretty much called it from the beginning.
I can't really argue it anymore.
Me and Cade.
He'll be back.
Me and you, dude.
He'll come back.
We didn't like McGregor from the beginning.
Don't listen to him.
What did I do?
McGregor.
Your pictures.
Oh boy.
Hey, I respect that. You and Chan are with him through thick and thin, and that's what a true fan does. But I will stick to my guns that he is entitled, and he's a hard worker.
He's gone down a route that I'm like.
But there were signs of that from the beginning. He was always.
Let's just talk about what you know. Let's just keep to what you know. Okay. Wait. Okay. So walking up to the venue, it felt like we were in a movie. Like,
oh, it did.
It was like we were walking up to this like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it just seemed like a backyard boxing gym or something. Like, it was nighttime. We have no idea what to expect. We're walking up on I wonder, they probably did them every Sunday night or something, I imagine. Maybe, or once a
probably weekly, at least.
And like, there's like people standing outside, like, and we go up, buy our tickets. It's pretty easy, right? And I remember Chandler was like falling asleep because of how hot it was. He was like crashing.
I think he was just kind of exhausted at that point.
But, what else? Yeah, they're crazy.
It was just really different.
Yeah.
It's their way of doing things obviously is a lot different from what we see every day, because the part of their whole process was the ritual, I guess, at the beginning of their fights, where each fighter would get anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes to sit. And what would you describe that? How would you describe that?
I'm trying to think. I looked it up, and I think it has to do with like, I want to say, and this might be wrong, but I want to say they're like almost praying to a god or something to like give them strength in the fight.
It was definitely spiritual.
Yeah, they were basically, they'd go around and kind of do like a dance of some sort, and they would kind of like do bows, and they would wear like some type of headwear and like.
Yeah, so it was basically a pre-fight ritual.
Essentially, yeah. And I know that's
really cool. That was one of my favorite parts, because it was so cool to see that. It was just so different.
It was just so like, it was like so pure Thailand culture.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's crazy because like I've never seen a live fight like that before. Yeah. You haven't either, right? Like you haven't been to like.
No. Well, that's not true. I saw one in Salt Lake, but I mean, that's really different. Just a MMA.
Really?
Yeah.
They have those?
Yeah, it wasn't in Salt Lake. It was up in like Bountiful or something.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah.
Well, I just like hearing actual punches like slap, and like you're like, oh
man, we saw one guy get rocked, right? Like his feet got taken out from under him.
Yeah, the guy that got kicked. That's the one I got that on video, and he like, they're going at it, and the guy spins around and like kicks the guy. It was in the face, right?
I think so.
And it knocked the guy down, and then he hits down, and then he does this crazy Jackie Chan, like the like worm jump up or whatever it's called.
Like from his back, like his hands. Whoa. His hands are behind his head and just flips himself back up to his feet.
Jumps back up, and it was like, it looked like a scene from like, I've never seen, what's that?
Jackie Chan, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Well, what's that movie? The Fight something.
Fight Club.
I've never seen.
We don't talk about that.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Well, yeah, it was so crazy, and I remember like we were all just like, "What the freak?" Like it looked like it was something like rehearsed, but it was 100% wasn't, obviously. So cool. But yeah, that was
major respect for those guys.
Yeah,
those guys
nuts.
are insane.
Some of them I couldn't tell like how old they were, but it looked like majority of them looked probably 19, 20.
A lot of them even looked younger than me.
And younger. I remember there was a couple kids that looked really young, and you're like, geez, like it's brutal. It's a crazy sport.
That's their life, though. That's their training every day for that.
Well, there's UFC fighters that are over in Thailand right now that are training under like Muay Thai instructors and stuff, like actual big names. Like I think there's a girl that moved there, like just specifically to learn, like, or to get better at it. You know.
I would. No distractions. Not as many distractions.
It'd be
as
such
here.
a cool place to live too. Like
kind of just embed yourself in the culture.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Well, and there was like, I have to mention that when we were you with us when we saw the snake?
No.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yes. So and you, I don't know if I need to post it somewhere. I need to put it on my Instagram or something, but it'll come out with the Thailand vlogs that I'll eventually get to. But I vlogged the entire trip, so we have like 14 days worth of footage on my computer that I'll hopefully start to get to. But one of the nights, it was me, Chandler, and Ryan, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Ryan.
I think that sounds right.
Because I think Cade was still sick.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Cade was like sick for half the trip.
He was sick for a few days. Guy. But yeah, so we were just walking, and so 7-Elevens in Thailand are everywhere. It's like your go-to. Like we got Gatorades like every single day, and like we get like, it's the most like Western.
Those Gatorades probably saved our lives.
Yeah,
it was so hot.
Yeah, like they
get the electrolytes back.
And stuff. Yeah, I've never sweat more in my life than in Thailand.
Oh my gosh,
it was so gnarly.
It was insane.
But so we were just like, all right, before we go up to our little apartment Airbnb thing, we're like, all right, we're gonna hit up 7-Eleven, and it's probably like 11 or 10 o'clock at night, and we're walking down this just regular sidewalk, and kind of in like the corner of my eye, but it's in front of me. It was like I wasn't focused on it. I see this branch just hanging out outside of this wall.
It's a massive branch.
And Chandler's walking in front of me, and I like instantly realize like, holy crap, that's a snake. And it's bigger than my arm. Like it's a boa constrictor. It's like the second biggest snake in the world, I think. It's like a reticle, or I looked it up. It's like this. It's basically like a step down from like an anaconda, I believe. But yeah. So I grabbed Chandler. I'm like, look out! And I like throw him aside, and the snake just like starts oozing in back into the. And I got video of the snake going back in the fence because it was kind of like a cinder block, had like holes.
And it came out like a couple feet. Like
it was
out in the middle of the sidewalk.
Probably like this long, like just and
it wasn't on the ground. It was elevated.
It was like chest height. Yeah. That's an important. He could have bit his
face off.
That's an important. Well, see, I think it was honestly because it was thick enough where it wouldn't. I don't think it would be able to fit through it. I think it was honestly just waiting, like for like a bird or Chandler, something to pass by. But yeah, I grabbed Chandler and it starts like going back in, and I got video on my Snapchat or something of it just like disappearing back into the wall.
Dude, I hate snakes.
Yeah, and like I like videoed, and like behind the wall you could just see this giant like leather looking snake, and it was like, oh.
And I don't think you're doing it justice by saying it's bigger than your arm. It was like the size of your neck or bigger.
It was like basically my calf. Like it was like this monster.
From your videos at least, it looked huge. I'm probably making it bigger in my head, but
if I remember, I'll put the clip on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, because I'll put that clip because it's like insane. But
put a link in the show notes or something too, because holy crap.
Yeah, I'll put like a timestamp or something. But so what would be your second place then?
In Thailand?
After wait, hold on first. We got to talk about the first Airbnb in Chiang Mai.
The joke of an Airbnb?
The sketchy, weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we booked an Airbnb, and it looked pretty dope. It had a pool. It looked pretty like something you'd see on Instagram, because we wanted to get cool photos and whatever. And like
you keep saying we, but I'm pretty sure you booked it. And
I was like tunnel vision this whole trip. But so we show up to this house, and like at first it looked really cool. Like it was a pretty good sized house. There's dogs, had 2 dogs. And so we were staying at this house, and the weird thing was also like we started noticing there was cameras like all over in the house, which I mean. Now that I kind of think about it, it's pretty. I would say I don't know if that's normal, but I imagine if you have an Airbnb, like that's kind of something like you want to be able to like have it.
Yeah, and it was a pretty like big house for that area.
It was a pretty nice.
They were probably pretty affluent for their community. So
right.
I mean, the cameras didn't really bother me.
Dude, I got such a Big Brother vibe. Like I was just being watched. And they have this like red ring around them, like the.
Yeah, that's true.
It looked like we were in like a Saw movie or something.
It was mostly just like nothing worked, right?
Yeah.
Like when we first showed up,
it almost felt like a North Korea house. Like everything looks
that
dope.
Might be a little much.
Everything looks dope, but nothing was working. Like
it's like all a facade.
Yeah, it was all kind of like this image. Yeah. Because what wasn't working? Like.
Well, when we first showed up, we were all like, we've been traveling for a long time because we came all the way from Krabi, right? Like we flew to get there.
Right. We went from Southern California.
Nice.
Southern Thailand all the way up to Chiang Mai, which is up like north side.
And then we took, a cab or whatever all the way, and we were all hungry and tired like it goes, and so we finally get to this big house, and we were so like ready to just kind of relax and get on the Wi-Fi and everything, and the first thing we all do obviously is try to get on the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's not working. And, that's like one of the biggest draws in the description is like Wi-Fi, and there's no Wi-Fi. And then we're trying to, I think it was really hot. Like the AC wasn't working, right?
Well, the fans weren't working. Like we'd hit the switches. Mm-hmm. We couldn't figure out those. I think some of the lights like weren't turning on.
Right.
Yeah, it just kind of had a weird vibe.
And then I think you like contacted the host and was like, trying to get a hold of them and tell them the problems and stuff. Yeah. And then you were like, well, while they try to fix this, we can go and get some food or whatever, because in the description it said something like comes with free shuttle, like whenever you want or whatever. And so you went and talked to the guy that had shuttled us and was like, hey, so can we go get food and then come back or whatever? And he was like, you only get like one time per day or something.
Yeah.
And it was just really like the whole thing was kind of just weird.
Yeah.
We were like, oh. So then we were kind of like stuck.
When we walked over to that little hamburger joint, which is actually what got Cade sick, we think.
Probably.
That little, but it was a really cool little spot.
Oh, it was cool, but the food wasn't.
I don't know if
good.
that was because we all ate there. You didn't like the food?
Maybe I don't know. I just remember getting like a cheeseburger or something. It was a pretty plain. Not taste like a cheeseburger.
I think I just like the ice cream. I think that's
the ice cream was good.
Yeah, and the people were really nice.
The people were awesome.
They took a picture with us.
Oh yeah, they were so cool. They were really wanted to like give us good food because it was clear there was hardly any tourists, if any, that ever show up in that area.
Right. Yeah, they were stoked on us.
And we were kind of just like, because I think you had thought that it was pretty close to the main city.
Yeah, it was. Well, like
really
on the map,
away.
it looked like it was like maybe a 15-minute drive. But when we got there, it was like a 45-minute like
to the city. It was way out in the middle of nowhere, so we were kind of stranded.
Yeah, I don't count on me for booking trips.
No, but like, here's the thing though, like all the mistakes, like that's gonna happen to anybody. Like you took the whole trip kind of on your own, and I know like I kind of was like, hey, you want me to come over and help plan or whatever? And you're like, no, like I think I want to try to do all this stuff, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, that
was one thing I learned was like, don't try to plan that big of a trip. Like I can plan most trips just fine. Like it's not that.
Well, you're
bad.
really good at planning in general, but it's just one of those things where you've never done it before, and it's just good to have people double checking your work and like, dates. Oh, what do you think about this and everything? And you're just like, no, guys, I got this.
Yeah.
And so, it was fine, and we figured everything out, obviously, but
we definitely like cram packed the trip. Like we did so much.
We did a lot, and that's another thing too. If we were to do it again, we probably would try to stick to one, maybe two, like, because there's just so much to see, and I liked it. Like it was awesome because we saw all of Thailand. We saw the beaches and the part of incredible, like limestone
elephants.
And then we saw the city. We saw Bangkok, big city, big building city, and then we saw mountainous elephants.
Right.
So we covered it all. It was great.
Okay, so that night we get back to our spot. We're chilling for the rest of the night, and from what it sounds like, we heard someone walking on the roof. Right?
Wasn't it Joy and Haley that heard it during the night?
Well, so we were all down in the main living room because we were playing pool.
Yeah.
And like I think most people were like hanging out in
Best
the kitchen.
Part of that hostel.
Yeah.
Or Airbnb.
Pool was great. We played a lot of pool. So we heard it sounded like footsteps running on the ceiling or like upstairs.
Like in the rafters or something.
Yeah. Well, like originally we thought somebody was on the roof. We're like, what the freak was that? So we all like chest up. Like, we're like, like we all run upstairs and we're looking around, making sure like everything's good. Yeah. We walk outside, look up on the roof, and like we didn't see anything, right? And then just like, all right, like chill, like let's just hang out. And then we hear it again. It's like, and that time Haley was up in her room.
Yeah.
And she heard it like in the ceiling above her.
Yeah.
And so she came downstairs and was like, we were all like, what the freak? And that was when it was dark now.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, something is like here. And it felt like signs or something. Like, and I don't know when we kind of came to the conclusion that there was like an animal within the rafters of the ceiling. Mm. But we went to bed. Chandler was freaked out. He stayed up all night with like a...
Did he really?
Yeah. He just like, I think he slept like in the kitchen, like ready to like kill somebody with a pool stick. But like, I remember me and Joy, we were up in our bedroom and it just sounded like a freaking like dinosaur was like
those steps.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, like I looked it up after, and they have these giant lizards there.
Yeah.
That eat like birds.
People.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that was probably in the ceiling. Like it had probably made a nest or something.
Well, because we went out the next day because everybody was kind of like freaked out or whatever. Dude. I think I passed out. Like I was tired. I didn't really care. But the next day we went out and there was a big old tree that like...
Yeah, it was right next to it.
Yeah, the canopy kind of overlapped onto the roof. And we were like, look, probably something is climbing up the tree onto the roof. There's some way into the rafters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It was...
Dude, I was
But
like...
it was just, we were on the other side of the world. We're tired. There's stuff in the roof. There was geckos. I remember in my room, there was geckos all on my walls. Like, every time I look up, I would just see a gecko go it's across my wall. And I was like, I'm going to sleep.
I don't mind geckos. I can't deal with Godzilla in the ceiling.
That's true.
Well, and so Haley got video footage of the noise, and it is like
it was loud.
Yeah, it was like a loud like scraping across the floor. So I'm
yeah.
So basically, long story short, we all kind of like huddle, and we're like, "F this place. We don't want to stay here anymore." We're all freaked out. We're like, "Big Brother, giant lizards." We're like, "We need to get the heck out of here." Oh yeah, and there was a kind of neighboring villa, and there was some girls that were, I think they were Chinese, right? The ones that thought Ryan was in a boy band or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
Well, they were like in the neighboring one, which we thought was our pool.
Yeah.
Turns out it wasn't, but they like came over and said hi to us and took pictures with, I think, Ryan or someone. But
I think the biggest thing too was like we were planning to spend most of the time in the city and exploring Chiang Mai, and
we were just
that was 45 minutes away,
and we
were supposed to be in that place for like 4 days.
Yeah, we were supposed to be there like pretty much like almost like 4 or 5 days. Like a solid chunk.
It wasn't practical.
So we like huddled and we're like, all right, at this place, like let's go. We're gonna book. We found a spot downtown Chiang Mai. Let's book it. And that ended up being like the coolest place.
Amazing. That was one of the coolest places we stayed. It was the coolest place.
Yeah, there was like a cafe like in the basement that we could like go down to, and then it was like literally you walk outside and you're in. It's like a giant square, like a big kind of square is the city, and so
the city or the place?
Yeah, well the place was like it was like an apartment. We were like on the probably top floor, I guess. It was like only like 2 or 3 stories, right?
The first one we went to, right, that we only stayed in for a night. Remember, and we tried to extend it.
Right, the like treehouse one.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
Okay, that one was.
That was the first one we went to, and they were like, "This is awesome, let's extend it," but it was already booked.
And the chick was super cool.
Oh, she was awesome. She was so accommodating,
and she spoke super good English.
Picked us up from the airport.
Yeah,
like that was one of the coolest
Her name was
things.
Mo.
Yeah,
that was her name.
If I ever go back, I want to go there because it was awesome. It was like this tree. There was basically a tree in the middle of the place. It was like 2-story. There was like a loft, and there was.
It was so sick.
There was I don't even know how to describe it with doing it justice.
Well, so we stayed at that place, and that one was really sick. And then we just transferred over to another one, which, I mean, I was just stoked to not have the first one. So like anything besides that was like
it was gonna be a step up.
Yeah. But yeah, the second one was dope just because we were like right on the street. But we didn't really explore much on that first one because we got there at night.
Yeah, it was mostly just a place to transition.
Yeah. But yeah, Chiang Mai's dope. I think.
So what was your favorite part of the Thailand trip?
I don't know. I think I would love to explore like Phuket and Krabi more. I feel like we got some of it. But I feel like there's probably so many cool beaches and cliff jumping spots.
There was so much to explore.
Yeah.
Like you could just walk forever.
Because like if we spent a week there, like the boat trips are super cheap. Like we could probably find somebody to just take us places. I'm like, we could have found probably some cool cliffs to jump off of.
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty sure the whale sharks hang out near Phuket. Well, it's the ocean. They're not going to be anywhere else. But there's whale sharks that go through there. That's what we were kind of wanting to see too. But that would be cool to like swim with whale sharks.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that was like that really like stuck with me was Khao Sok. I think
that was amazing.
Because like for those that don't know, basically Khao Sok's this huge lake, like monstrous lake, and it's a national park, and there's all these different companies that will take you on a boat, and it was like. What, like an hour-long boat ride?
Something like that.
It was like it was like an hour to hour and a half boat ride that we took, and like at the beginning of there was so much stress in my body that whole trip because like we get to the place and they're like, you have to put all your gear, all your luggage in our room over here, and we're like, wait, like we don't want to leave all of our luggage in this random building while we go out into this lake for the night, you know.
Right.
And I'm kind of just like, just do what they're saying, like, just let's go. And there's no way in heck I was going to leave like all my camera gear, my laptop and stuff. So I brought that with us. But once we got like on the boats, that's when it was just like, holy crap. Because we're on a boat just mobbing on this lake. And there's just huge mountains that come out of the water.
Unreal.
Yeah, it was like something from like Avatar or something. Like it was just the craziest place. But there's all these companies that are out there that have floating bamboo bungalows, and you stay in them, and they basically kind of host you for the night or however long. And like yeah, they were just all really cool there. And we went on like a little like safari, even though I think we saw a monkey.
Yeah, I don't think we really saw very many
Yeah.
animals. But it was just, we were completely secluded.
Yeah, that was the best part. Is we're I want to say we were 2 hours. It was a 2-hour boat ride, but that sounds like a lot. But I feel like
it was really long.
Yeah, I feel like I remember like seeing it later, and I was going, "Whoa, we were out there."
At least an hour, probably somewhere in between.
Somewhere
an hour
around
and 2
there.
hours.
But I remember too. They were saying, I looked it up later, and I think in that region there are like tigers too, which is like you could see like a tiger like just on like
up in the
edge of water or something.
Shrubbery or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not having any access to like internet, like
that was one of the best parts, is because for a lot of the trip, like, because I didn't get a SIM card, so I didn't have data or anything for the whole trip, and for most of it, you guys all did.
We're all
and so for most of the trip, when we were in cards or whatever, you guys were all still like on Instagram and stuff, and I was like, guys, you want to like talk?
Well, yeah, like I think just being secluded.
And so out there, we didn't have any data or anything.
It was just so cool. It was just so
just
like.
Kidding. You guys weren't on your phones all the time, but you definitely like in between stuff. You guys had Instagram, and I
was always putting stuff on my story.
I was just like fiddling my thumbs or something.
That's a good. I feel like that's a pretty solid move though. Like to enjoy a different country.
Yeah. No, I would definitely recommend it. It's a different. I mean, because if you have it, you're gonna use it,
right?
And if you don't have it, you're gonna find another way to, another way to spend your time, and you kind of just, I don't know, it just opens everything up a little more. I feel like.
Well, the coolest thing too was like the locals that kind of ran that company. They were like super, like friendly. They fed us like. I think the best food I had was probably there. That I enjoyed the most.
The Thai people were amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody there was the nicest.
Well, so I don't want to jump to
thinking about that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Scooter girl?
Well, finish the cow sock thing.
Okay, well, the last thing I wanted to talk about was
a lot of crazy stuff that happened on that trip.
Well, it was 2 weeks. It's half a month.
There was a lot of stuff that happened.
Well, so Sage got bit by a pufferfish.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, because we would swim kind of during the day. We'd have kind of like downtime while they were like preparing dinner and stuff, where you could just like literally jump off your bed into the water, basically.
Mm-hmm. Just like canoe, kayak.
Yeah, they had little like kayaks, and like you could just swim and have fun.
But I remember when I wanted to take the kayak over and explore, and you said no, and we turned back around.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm tired.
You and Chandler did, didn't you?
No, he did the same thing.
You guys went farther.
We got halfway, and he was like, "No, let's go to this one." And then we got halfway, and then he's like, "Let's go back." I
was so sunburnt and lazy.
Freaking Chan.
Also, I see you. So tell us about what happened with like that little that we found out later was a pufferfish. We're all just chilling on the dock.
Yeah, we were just jumping in and out. Yeah, and all just kind of chilling and talking and stuff. And then, yeah, because there's a little, what do you call that? Just the
walkway.
Walkway, I guess, the wooden walkway. And so I was half in, half out, kind of like I was in the water, just kind of like holding on to the, or maybe I had like
there was these huge,
my legs on it or something.
Well, so the bungalows were floating on these huge logs.
Yeah, and
like the logs were kind of over the side, so I think you guys had your feet kind of up on the dock. And your butt was like underwater against the log.
Yeah.
And you were kind of just chilling.
Yeah, so that's probably what it was. We were kind of just like floating or something, and had our legs kind of like up on there. And all of a sudden, because I got bit first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of a sudden I was like, ah! And I like screamed or something. Or I didn't scream, but I like clearly got hurt and like went into the water. And I was just like grabbing my leg, and I come up, and everybody's like,
we're all just like
looking at me, and I was like, what the? And they're like, what? And I was like, something bit me or something. And you guys are just like, I don't know if you didn't believe me or what.
We were all kind of like,
what just happened? Because I kind of just started freaking out.
Yeah.
And well, because I think I like immediately tried to push away because I was touching something. And so I was just in the water.
Well, no, my first thought was like, is there like a sea urchin type animal or like...
And you didn't come in to save me?
No way. That's scary.
You're like, you stay over there.
I was like, I'll throw you a life belt.
So then you're all looking at me, and like 5 seconds later, Chan is like, ah! And then you guys all look at him.
Yeah, then we're like...
So everybody gets out of the water.
Yeah, we're all like, get out!
And I was like, got up and everything, and I looked down, and there's just a big swollen red mark, and I was like, what happened? And it was like, it stung.
Yeah.
But so I was kind of worried for a minute that I should get treatment
2 hours out from land. But that's what we look over the edge and we're kind of looking for stuff. And then I noticed a pufferfish, and I know pufferfish have beaks. They have these little beaks.
Yeah.
And from living in Hawaii, there's lots of times where you could go up kind of to a fish nest. And a nest for a fish is a little divot in the sand, on the bottom of the floor. And if you swim by it, they'll kind of charge you or come at you, or other fish, they'll kind of go at them. And so I was looking at it, I'm I think it was that puffer fish. And it wasn't puffed up or anything. It was just these little pancake fish. But I think Chandler was in the water still, and he kind of got near it, and it did a little bluff charge at him. And I was yeah, that freaking just bit you guys. And I think some puffer fish are poisonous when they hit you with their...
Did you tell me that at this point?
No, I didn't tell you.
You kept that to yourself. That's probably for the best.
Well, when they hit you with their spines, I think they can... I don't know if there's any actual deadly ones, but I think they can leave a pretty solid punch with the spines. But yeah, I think they just bit you with the beak.
What did we decide? Were we just if this gets worse, we'll tell somebody?
If you die,
or
you die.
How did I don't even remember
Good luck.
what I thought.
I think once we figured it out, it was a pufferfish. I don't think we were.
Yeah, I think I was worried initially because I was what is that? Should I be worried? And then you said you saw a pufferfish.
Yeah.
And we were all we kind of just decided they're fine.
Yeah. Well, and I was watching it, and I remember seeing Chandler got close to it, and it started swimming at him, and I was okay, it's for sure probably protecting its little area, its den or something.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's still not poisonous though.
So
whatever it was, if it wasn't, if you didn't see the puffer.
Yeah, that's kind of sketchy. But yeah. So
before we talk about the scooter thing, I just remembered because you were talking about the boats. Remember when our the rotor or whatever flew off? The propeller?
In Phuket.
Yeah, we were in Phuket, and they take us on these boats over to the island, and it was one of our first couple of days there, and we're in the middle, on our way there, and I'm filming, and I'm looking this way, and the guy's doing his boat thing, and I look, and I just see the propeller go just out in the middle of the ocean, and I was guys, and you see the guy just go
I didn't see it happen.
I have it actually.
Yeah,
I watched it on my GoPro footage.
I have,
and you can see it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I have it filmed.
I'll have to get that.
I was guys, there goes our propeller, and I start laughing, and the guy was just So I mean, luckily there's lots of people around. It's not we were stranded, but I just thought that was so funny because the first boat ride we take, and the propeller literally breaks down.
That's so funny.
Anyways, I just remembered that. Okay, so the scooter story.
Okay, so you tell me the story. I like when you tell the stories because it's fun.
Yeah, but I don't have a very good memory, so...
Okay, well, I'll go.
We'll do it together.
So we got scooters. Or no, so this
Where were we?
was dope. This was in Krabi.
This was in Krabi, yeah.
Because we had that one with the pool and had the yard. We played, juggle soccer and stuff.
Yeah.
So this was the first place we stayed at. It's fun, looking at, the whole trip. And, we had so many little hurdles. Even getting there that night, and it's, nighttime. We have no idea where we're at. And our guy shows up, and he's basically was saying we were late, or he was kind of
he kept trying to get a hold of you because the last thing you had said to him was we might get in earlier or something. So he was waiting that day, and then you never came because you didn't have service.
Yeah, it was so messy, but it's funny just looking at all those little hurdles because it's that's the thing is a lot of people say they want to travel, but it's traveling is stressful. Yeah. It's fun. There's a lot of amazing stuff you can do. But it's it's gonna test your anxiety, and it's gonna test you on all levels.
But honestly, if you can hack it, that's the best part to me. Is just because now look back, we're telling these stories and just looking back on remember when we had to deal with this and remember that. Yeah. If everything was sunshine and rainbows, it wouldn't have been as fun of a trip.
Exactly. Well, and the thing too is if you planned it better, if you don't have me plan it, it'll probably be a little bit smoother. But
I don't care though. That was a fun trip, and I mean, it was
so the place that we rented came with 2 scooter rentals. We had to pick them up with the guy, but we got them back to our spot, and they were super fun. It was I know it was Joy's first time riding one. And
she was the motorized scooters, not a Razor scooter.
Were they electric?
No, because me and Kate had to go get gas.
Yeah.
That was an adventure in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, so I know it was Joy's first time riding one, and she was all about it. I mean, we've grown up riding dirt bikes, so it wasn't anything crazy.
You're
but
pretty natural.
It was still super fun, like just mobbing around on them. But so we went to bed that night.
Because we were doing scooters that whole day and everything. But
Yeah.
then the next morning we were leaving the area to like...
Well, I remember that morning. Okay, this is kind of a funny side note. Is we're all asleep, right? And of course Chandler comes running in our rooms like, guys. He's like, there's a guy outside.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all like, what the freak? Like, we're going to die in Thailand. We're all of our guards up still. We all like kind of look outside and there's a guy at our gate with like a flashlight. And we're like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? Like, he came to kill us tourists. Like, and then all of a sudden he like walks over to the pool and starts like cleaning and like checking the stuff.
Was that a different morning though?
I think that was the same morning because then it went from like, because that was like 5 a.m. or something. And we were all like, oh, I'm going back to bed. And you wanted to go out and go on the scooters.
Yeah, so I woke up from jet lag or whatever. I woke up at like 5 or 5:30 or something in the morning. Yeah. And we had all done our scooter rides the day before and we were done because we were leaving the next morning. But then I woke up at 5:30 in the morning and I was like, we have 3 hours. Yeah. And I was like, I want to go scooter some more. Like, live it up while we're here, while we have it. Because it was beautiful. That area we were in.
I'm so glad we did
Oh my, it was incredible. Yeah. Like some of the drone footage you got from around there, because we were literally right off the road and it was just out, it wasn't like a big city or anything. It was, there was hardly any houses or anything. It was just roads with just greenery everywhere.
Right.
And so I woke up and it was like 5:30 in the morning. I wanted to go scooter and it was completely light outside.
Yeah.
And so I went and woke Logan, or I think you were awake, right? I didn't wake you up. You saw me like getting up and getting dressed, right?
Something. I think you peeked your head in asking if anybody wanted to go.
I think I saw you were awake and you were like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm going to go scooter. You want to come? And you're like, Sage, it's still early.
Yeah. I was like, I was so tired still.
I was like, dude, come on. It's our last chance. Like, you're going to regret it if you don't. And you're like, oh, I'm going to go back to sleep. I was like, whatever, I'll go.
And then I sat there for a second. I felt like super guilty. I'm like, I can't let Sage go himself. And I was thinking,
is that what it was?
Well, it was that, and then it was also like my buddy Chad. He's like, I always use him as an example for like, he's just always saying yes to things and always like doing that. And I'm like, if I was with Chad, he would be telling me to freaking go. I'm like, this is such a good opportunity to like, you're in Thailand, Yeah. So I jumped up and I was like, I'm coming, Sage. And
I was so excited because I was down there. I had my helmet on. And I was
you were about to leave,
and you come out, and I was like, yeah.
So we jump on the scooters, and so this was the day before, or this was the morning of. We were gonna head to Khao Sok, so we had somebody coming to pick us up within 2.5, 3 hours or whatever. So we had to make sure that we were back.
And we weren't packed or anything. Either.
Yeah, and we didn't really tell anybody we were leaving.
Well, everybody was asleep. I didn't want to wake them up. But I wasn't, we were just, like, we knew what time we had to be back. And we were going to be back, like, within an hour or whatever
we weren't planning to be as long as we were.
We had 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah, so, anyways, we take off.
Continue.
Well, yeah, so we took off and we were just driving, having the time of our lives. And that was the morning where we found that weird, what was it? It was with the gates and it had all like the shrubs. It was like a really well manicured place.
Oh right, yeah. It was like, I don't know. It kind of like had like a nursery vibe, like almost like where you'd buy plants. Yeah. But it also kind of had like
really big though.
Yeah, it almost had like it was for sure some type of like tourism place. I think like where they would take you and like you would maybe learn about something. But it was a pretty big property.
Yeah, it was just incredible views. And we were driving up and down. And then there was like a dirt path that we wanted to go down. And we start going down this dirt path and we see like 3 Thai guys back there. And we're like, what are they doing? Like, should we keep going? We kind of stop.
Like, what are they holding?
And they turn around and the guy's got a big old machete.
They got machetes. We're just like,
and they start yelling at us or something.
Yeah, they were kind of like saying something. We couldn't understand them, but they were saying something. Yeah.
We'll be right there.
Come. I remember that was like the first time I was kind of like, I don't know if we should go down that way. And then you were like, I think we should go the other way. And I was like, okay, if Sage is saying that, we're gone.
I didn't get a great feel. I mean, not like they were going to chop us up or anything, but I don't think they wanted us there.
Yeah, I got the vibe. They were probably like, I imagine they were probably cutting trees or like clearing a path or like
whatever they're saying. I don't think they were inviting us over. So yeah, we turned around and I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And then we were, taking pictures and just cruising, and we found like this highway too. So we were just cruising on the highway because before it was just kind of like back roads
Small
and stuff,
yeah.
which was awesome too. But then we kind of upped our game. We were cruising on this highway.
Yeah, we got confident quick.
Yeah, it was fun. The hardest part for me was trying to retrain my brain to like when I'm turning left to go into the left lane.
Oh
not
yeah,
the far
I forgot
right
about
lane
that.
Stuff like that, because that's hard because
yeah.
you just go into like what you're used to mode, just like autopilot a lot of times. But you're like, oh nope, I gotta go over here.
I totally forgot that they drove on the other side of the road.
Yeah. So I mean, that was cool. That just takes a little getting used to. But anyway, so we ended up being gone for a little longer than we had hoped. It was an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah. Well, we were after the whole machete incident. We were like, all right, we should probably head back.
Yeah.
And on the way back was that main.
And
highway.
we were on track to be back with plenty of time.
Yeah, we were in the right. We were doing fine.
Yeah, we gave ourselves plenty of time, and we would have been back with like an hour.
Yeah.
Or
easy.
whatever, over an hour, and we were headed back. We went maybe like 20-25 minutes away from our Airbnb.
Yeah, we weren't too far.
Yeah, it wasn't like that bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
Well, so we're riding down the highway, and this is like a main highway. Like I imagine a lot of people commute to work or whatever from, and we're cruising down it. Sage is like right behind me, cruising, and then I always like obviously look behind me, make sure that Sage is with me or didn't crash or something. And I look behind me, and all of a sudden Sage isn't there. And I'm like, oh crap, where did Sage go? And I like look at the very end of the road, and I can see him like. I think you were pushing it.
I think so. I didn't want to get too far away from you.
You were like pushing it. So I hurry and cross over the road and go back the opposite way. And I start heading that way. And I'm on the opposite side of the road waiting to pass. And all of a sudden there's this girl right behind Sage on her scooter. And she's kind of just like staring.
Did she pull up to me before you even got to me?
Yeah. I didn't cross the road yet. Because I remember I was kind of looking down the road waiting for traffic. And then I look over and there's just this girl next to you. And I'm like, what the freak? Like, where did she come from? She must have just pulled up right next to me.
Well, because from my perspective, I'm going behind you and cruising, and you're just, you were obviously the expert scooter rider, so I was right on your tail. And then all of a sudden, I was giving it gas, and all of a sudden, I just remember it going like, and I was like, no. And you just keep going. I was like, Logan. I'm like yelling at you, but it's so loud. Like, there's no way you're going to hear me. And I was honking my horn too.
Oh, yeah.
And you just, woo! And so I just like slowly come to a stop, and I'm like, huh. And I like try to start it again, and just nothing like there. And I'm just like, I'm like walking, and I'm like, well, he'll notice eventually, but at least I'll try to get closer to him.
Yeah. Well, so, and one detail too is that we were heading uphill. And so I'm trying to think. I think yours. Because it didn't run out of gas. Okay, so pretty much. So I cross over, and the girl is like big smile, like smiling at us, but she doesn't speak any English. And we're like, I asked Sage, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, it died. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's out of gas. So we open it up, and we can see gas in there. Like it should be enough. Like it's not out, obviously. Like we're swishing it around, and we're like, what the freak? And we're trying to start it, and there's an electric start and then there's a kick start. So we're trying to kick start it. We're trying to get it to work and we can't get it to work. And we're like, crap. Like, and time is starting to, we're 20 minutes now out. And
yeah, we really tried like everything for a little while there. And she was even trying and yeah.
Well, like everybody's calling us like, where the freak are you? And we're like, our scooters died.
I think you texted Chan to tell him we ran into it.
Yeah. And we hit up our host guy like saying, hey, we think one of them broke down, like could you pick us up, like we need help.
Yeah, but this was all, I mean, calling Chan and calling him, that was all kind of like last resort stuff. That was after we had been trying for 20 minutes or whatever, because the local Thai girl came and tried to help us and everything, and she didn't speak a lick of English.
Yeah, she was just smiling and like,
so yeah, she was just like,
the interaction was so fun because like she was like, you could tell she was like frustrated, like because she was like, I want to talk to you, but I can't. And she was like, oh, like.
She was just trying to help. And so she instantly, the first thing she did, she opened the gas can, or the gas cap.
Right.
And she looked in, and it wasn't empty, but it was pretty low.
It was low enough that we thought it was the gas.
Right. And so she instantly was like, this, and we're like, we don't have any gas.
Yeah.
And so she goes over to her scooter, opens up her gas cap, goes into the shrubbery. It's just forest, just complete forest on the side of the road. Highway. She goes over, she's just looking for, and we're like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
And then she's just like looking around at the ground, comes back with this piece of trash,
yeah.
like 2 pieces of trash, like half of a styrofoam cup,
yeah,
and like a straw or something,
right,
or a stick or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she comes over and she just starts siphoning, and we're
yeah.
just like, we look at each other and we're like,
gangster.
Wow. Yeah. And like,
powerful Thai girl.
She was probably what, 16 or 17?
She was probably, I would say 17, 18.
Can you imagine a girl or even anybody here that age that's just
pulling
over for, like
gas.
a tourist, an Asian tourist that's out? Can you imagine many people wanting to like come over and just help? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would, but just not in this same context.
She didn't even hesitate. Like, she was there before.
It was so cool to see. So she instantly starts siphoning from her gas tank to ours, and we're just watching her go. And so she does it for a while, and then we try to start it. Still doesn't start. So then I think she got on her phone and she was calling for help.
She was trying to talk to somebody, trying to figure it out.
She was like, how should we... There's these 2 freaking weird white guys here. They don't speak Thai.
White boys.
Yeah, and they're like, help me. And so we were trying to kickstart and everything. And by this point, we had been stuck on the side of the road for like 20 minutes to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we were starting to be... And we started kind of freaking out a little bit. Not freaking out. We were both really calm. I think that's why...
we were fine, but... everybody else was freaking out.
Yeah, and we were fine. We were like, we'll figure it out and stuff. But by this point, I'm like, we have all these plans and everybody's waiting on us.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. I was like, crap, like this wasn't supposed to happen. Obviously it wasn't in our control, but, we probably should have gave ourselves a little more time. But so we were just trying to not, because we had everything planned. The bus was going to come get us. So not only would our party be waiting on us, but the drivers, and maybe they would leave us, and then we would have to spend more because we had to check out of the Airbnb.
Well, yeah, we had to take the van, and then we would have to get on a boat at the place, and if we missed that, then we lose that night. Like, it was all
everything
gonna be a butterfly effect. Like,
and that all kind of started coming to us, and we were like, we got to figure this out right now.
We have to start running or something.
Yeah.
Well, so did we start it through the electric start, or did we kickstart?
I think eventually after
I think it was electric because...
No, it was kickstart, I thought.
Well, no, because I'm pretty sure this is what happened because we were sitting there trying it. And what had happened was when you went up the hill, either the gas went to the back of it and so it didn't get through to the engine.
Yeah.
Or it just killed the battery because it was using too much power.
Yeah.
I don't know because if it's gas powered, I don't think... you shouldn't have to worry about your battery dying.
I don't know. It's probably plenty.
No, it was definitely you kicking it, the gas, because we were like, all right, let's just let it kind of chill for a bit, recharge, whatever, and then I think you hopped on it.
I don't remember. Do you think we like flooded it or something?
I don't know. Maybe. Something. But so I remember, I think it was you. It might have been me, but I'm pretty sure it was you. You got on it and hit the kickstart, and all of a sudden it goes, and just starts up, and you, me, and the Thai girl all look at each other, and we're like, holy crap. And we like jumped on, and she's like, go, go, go.
Yeah, you're like, don't let go.
Yeah, I was like, do not let it turn off, because I was like, if it turns off, it might not start. Yeah. And so I run over, jump on mine, and we just freaking, and we just. Oh wait, no, hold on.
But first,
we didn't.
We didn't just leave her. That would be messed up. No, I think I had you like hold on to the throttle. I don't know. Does it just go?
It was idling, okay, so we just let it. We were like, all right, it's good.
Yeah, and so we turned to her, and she was like, "Oh, like she's like, yeah, good job" or whatever. Yeah. And so, I mean, she didn't say that, but
good job.
Yeah, and so we were just like, "Thank you so much," and we were both so grateful. And so the only way I really knew how to say thanks, was like with money, because I was like, thank you. And I really wanted her to know that we were super grateful.
Right.
And she got us out of a bind, because otherwise we would have been screwed probably. And so I got out my wallet, and as soon as I pulled out my wallet, she's like, no. She was like,
no.
Yeah, she was like physically like, no, I'm not taking money.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, please. And she did not want to take any money.
So like,
and I pulled, and it wasn't even that much money. It was like 400 or 600 baht or something.
I think you gave her 100 baht. Like, I think it was like
I think I had, I don't know, it was maybe like 200 baht, 300. It was something like that. Well, that's only like $4 or $5.
Well, yeah, for us, yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
so it
US
wasn't that
dollar.
much money,
Well,
but
yeah, for
I
you
remember.
It wasn't, but for her, it was.
Maybe it wasn't that much. Maybe I'm over.
No, because we gave her 100 baht, but to us, it's only like 10.
So I only gave her 100 baht. I remember giving her 2 bills of something. I thought it was 100 baht.
I remember you gave her enough money that was like, it was probably pretty solid. Like
a lot for her.
Yeah, for her. But for us, it was probably like $20 maybe, or $10 or something.
Yeah. Anyways, so I tried to give it to her and she didn't want it, but I kind of
insisted.
I was just like, thank you so much. I was like, please take this.
Yeah.
And so she kind of just realized, and I hope I wasn't like,
we're not going to give up.
But yeah, I wanted her to know. I mean, we both did. And so she took it and she was like, thank you. And she was insanely grateful.
Yeah.
And we were like, thank you so much. And then we just pieced out as fast as we could.
Yeah, that was a cool experience for us.
Oh, it was so fun.
We just we recognized how quickly she helped us. Like she didn't even blink. And she was siphoning gas, I'm pretty sure she was putting gas in her mouth, right?
Oh yeah.
Because the straw is like this big.
Yeah.
So she was probably filling her mouth up, and I remember she was like taking breaks,
and she was like spitting it out.
Yeah,
remember?
she was like taking breaks, like she's getting lightheaded. So we just mob back.
We're just sitting there watching her.
Yeah, we're just these two dudes. Great job, guys.
Oh man, but that really just did that was a really cool experience, and I know Chan was kind of mad because he was like, you guys shouldn't do that when we've got plans, and
yeah,
that's fair, but it was a really, really cool experience.
It was worth it.
And it was worth it, and we saw really cool places that we didn't see the night before.
Yeah.
And that really just solidified the fact that I was just
there.
The culture here is so nice. Everybody is
They're
so
amazing.
friendly. And that's why every time people are like, "Oh, you went to Thailand? Isn't it scary over there?" I'm like, "No,
it's
just scary.
It's almost more friendlier than here."
Oh, exactly. It is more friendly.
Well, when we flew into LA, we instantly noticed people are just so angry, and they're just so like we walked out of the airport terminal or something, and I'm I think someone cut someone off, and they were flipping them off and honking, and it's it was just such a different culture change. It was amazing. Yeah. I think it changed a lot of us for the good,
Oh yeah, for sure. Better. And that's why traveling is it's so amazing, because it's just perspective is everything, right?
Yeah.
You can sit here your whole life and you're just not gonna see perspectives of everybody else, and it's not a terrible thing, but if you do go and see other cultures and stuff, you're just oh, this is how they live and this is how other people live, and everybody's inherently nice and everybody wants to help for the most part. And sometimes you don't have commonalities, but you can always find some.
Well, the coolest part too is the complete language barrier, but you can still
we still had
all smiling
interaction
and having fun. Yeah,
that was so cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing too is kind of back to perspective is if you live within your bubble your whole life, it's a lot easier to judge everyone outside your bubble. Yeah. But if you travel, go into all these other different bubbles, you're going, oh, okay, I get it, and that's I think it's honestly, it's super important, because I think if you don't, then it's you have one perspective, you know, but.
Well, that's what it is. It's just reading books or watching documentaries or anything that you're just doing it to open your viewpoints for more. The more viewpoints you get, perspectives and ideas and everything, the more you can kind of bring it all together and form your own opinions.
Have an opinion, yeah.
But if you're not seeing I don't know. But it was fun, man. It was, and even me too. If you get in your daily grind, everybody, you just get back in this, go to work and come back, and you head down, and it's just the daily grind. But when I'm out there, I found myself every time I passed by somebody, I would smile at them, they would smile back at me, and everybody's bowing, and it was just so fun to be in that culture for a while. I would love to go back.
And that's the thing is going back to Qatar.
Yeah.
The same thing is if a lot of those countries, their economy is based on tourism. You know, I know I think Egypt is. It's most people there are gonna be freaking amazing to you.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna invite you in their house, and they're gonna feed you, and because they're so excited.
There's just a sour few that have kind of ruined the image for the rest of the world,
right?
Which sucks, but
the people.
I don't know anything. I've never been over there, but I
imagine.
I'm sure it would be great. There's areas you want to stay away from, but
right. Okay, well, I wanted to end it off with your podcast, because how many episodes now? Is it 3, 4?
Yeah, well, okay. I have like the fourth one edited. We just have to post it.
Okay, so for those that want to check it out, what is your concept? What is it? Tell me about it.
You want me to tell you about it again? Yeah. Just kidding. Yeah, no, so it's structured just as a Would You Rather. So it's called Would You Rather Roommate Edition. Uh-huh. And it's just basically us. It's me and my 3 roommates. We all live in a house together, like proper bachelor pad. You still haven't came. You got to come see it, dude. It's awesome. Ping pong table, love sack projector. We got it all.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome. Got like the freaking grill in the back. And anyways, so it's just, we just go over Would You Rather questions, and
it's super.
It's kind of like
I like it a lot.
I really like. Honestly, that was a super good compliment when you texted me and you were like, "It's really entertaining."
Dude, it's sick. Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. Is because everybody's like, "Oh, I want to start a podcast," and we're always talking about it. And you were the first one that's always wanted to do a podcast. I think you turned me on to podcasts because you've been listening for years, and I've been listening ever since I got this new job. Well, like the last 3 years, but you've been listening for a lot longer than that, right?
I've been listening to at least Rogan since my junior year in high school.
Yeah, I just remember you were like the first person I knew who was like.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about like we were like, oh, we like podcasts are sick. Well,
Yeah, because I never really had a reason to until I got this outside like laborious job, and so I just have my headphones in all day, and it's amazing. Like I just feel like I can learn for 8 hours a day, whatever I want.
It's so sick.
It's like school, but better.
It's like reading a book.
Yeah,
but you don't have to read.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's better.
And so I really I was like, okay, if we're gonna do something, we got to have some type of structure because we can't just sit down and talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you at least have a structure where you've got, it's an interview and you've got all your friends and there's different stories and perspectives and everything, but it's like we can't all just sit down and talk. So I was like, okay, we'll just come up with different would you rather questions, and we can all be able to debate and discuss, and there's funny stuff and there's deep stuff.
I love it. It's so fun because you have all the different personalities.
We're all very different.
Yeah, like you have yours and you have like Jackson.
Skylar and Sean.
I haven't met Skylar. I've met Sean at the UFC fight.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun just listening to each each one. And I was trying to think of what could you do to get people to interact with it too. Yeah. Like maybe it's something like where you ask the question, and I don't know, because for me I could do it with my Instagram with what would you rather do, and say this is what the audience thinks. You know.
That's actually a good idea, though. We should throw it out to on our Instagrams because we have.
That's the thing is, you guys have enough. I mean, it's 4 Instagrams. I imagine.
I mean, I don't have social media anymore.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool to get the audience
That's
involved.
Kind of the goal. I mean, this last episode that we just did, that was my main point. At the end, I'm everybody send us questions, voice recordings, whatever, so that we can play your question, because that's the biggest part. We're gonna run out of stuff anyways.
That's what you should for sure have people send you some, and then
that's the goal. And I would love for people to, so if you listen to the podcast, send us a question.
Go check it out.
And then we'll because it's just more entertainment, and two, it's I think it's cool because when you're listening, you find yourself what would I say to this? Or
for sure, that was the biggest thing. I'm sitting there this is what I would say.
You guys are idiots. This is what you should say.
Well, okay, so this is my would you rather for you.
Yes, let's hear it.
So this is a question I've asked so many people this question, because when I first asked it, I was blown away by the response, because I was so surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my would you rather is, I guess, okay. So would you rather stay here on Earth and just live regular, exactly what you're doing, right? Or you have the opportunity to go up into one of the satellites, like International Space Station, and you're going to be by yourself for 2 years. You have connection to the internet, and you can communicate with us down here, but only once, maybe, let's say once every 3 months. So it's, and you can do it for say you have a day's worth of communication. So you have communication, but it's limited. So you're going to be up there completely alone in silence.
It's just you.
Just you. And you can bring, I would say, one hobby. So for me,
my soccer ball.
Okay. World best.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, literally you could bring whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. There's no gravity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You kick it once and it's dum, 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 dum.
Oh, that would be fun, though. It's like a balloon. You ever juggle a balloon?
Yeah.
But I guess I would have to go back up, and
you play versus yourself.
Kind of goes down and
kick it to one side and
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. Well, so you can bring like one hobby. For me, it would be like say photography or whatever, or you could bring video games, or you could bring movies. Essentially, whatever hobby it is, you have kind of unlimited access with it. So like if you wanted Netflix, you could watch movies, whatever. So would you rather stay here or dedicate 2 years of your life just staying within, say, like this room space, and you have like some, windows? What would you rather do?
Space, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. There's no question, because that's only, and I guess there's never really a guarantee that you're coming back, but it's like, well, you're insinuating you're coming back, right?
That was part of it too, is like there's not like a risk. Like you're not,
for
spaceship's not going to explode or anything.
I mean, I think you'd be crazy not to, just because it's such a different experience. Like, who else can say they've been up to space? Hardly anybody on the planet.
I've asked so many people this question, and everyone's like, no, that's boring. Why would I give up 2 years to just sitting in a room for 2 years? And to me,
in space.
Yeah, to me, it has boggled my brain that people's response is like no, because like for me, it would be like the most insane dream to like go up and take photos in space, let alone zero gravity. Like to me, it'd be like the craziest experience. So my challenge is I want you to ask that question and see which one. Don't tell them your answer, and don't try to don't push them in a certain way, right? Just see what each individual one. So like I know like a lot of them play guitar, right?
Yeah.
And I know one of them likes pizza.
Yeah, that was on one of the podcasts, right?
So ask them that one on the next one and just see what their responses is, and we'll see if they all, we'll see if we're, because that's what's crazy is like I've asked some people that are as adventurous as you and me, and they're like, no way. And I'm like, what?
That surprises me.
Yeah, it blew my mind.
Because it's a completely different question if you're there for like, say, 10 years or your whole life.
Right.
That's a whole different dynamic. But 2 years, that's like a elongated vacation.
Right.
That's somewhere hardly anybody's been. That's just the ultimate exploration.
Okay, so what if I said you have to be up there for 10 years?
Yeah, that's a different question.
Yeah.
Then. Because I don't know. That's a lot of time you can't get back. And it depends on what I'm doing up there. If I'm like going to Mars and I'm part of something, I'm just confined to a room.
You're floating above the Earth.
Confined in a room for 10 years.
Yeah.
Then I would probably...
Let's say it's like, I think it's Interstellar.
Is there any purpose to it, or it's just to go?
No, just to go.
Because 2 years, 2 years is a long time, but it's not that long, and I feel like I can kind of, see things. It's a new perspective, and I can do things for 2 years, but it's not like I'm taking a huge chunk out of my life just for this. It's 2 years. 2
years is like, it's nothing. 10 years, you'd go 24 and you'd come back 34.
Yeah, I don't think I would do 10 years. Unless I have a greater purpose, would you?
Shame.
Right now, they tell you.
I don't.
Game of Thrones reference, by the way.
Yeah.
Right now, they come to NASA says, Logan, we'll send you up for 2 years or 10 years. We'll send you up for 10 years. You have to go right now. We'll give you a week to decide, but you go and you don't come back for 10 years. You're alone. Would you leave right now? No. Your family, Joy?
I for sure wouldn't. Just because, like, one, it's like that'd be 10 years away from Joy.
Yeah, it's way too much of a sacrifice.
Well, like that's like to me, and this is gonna get kind of cheesy. Like, joy means way more than experiencing space. You know, I'll just go in an airplane and have them dive bomb so I can do the zero gravity or whatever. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much everything. So, the very final thing is what is next for Sage? What are you?
Oh, that's the worst question.
So, with your podcast, with summer coming up, what do you have going on? What's up?
Podcast, I just want to make it better because I kind of just, I just kind of went with the get it out there kind of thing because it was just fun.
Well, that's perfect. Like
it was fun to do, and I thought we had a good premise and stuff. But obviously, I'm just recording off of my phone. I'm not trying to downplay it or anything, but there's a lot of room for improvement. What I'm saying.
What's sick is like it sounds good for just being on your phone.
Cool.
And then it's like
that's good to hear.
Then all of a sudden it's like you get like I'll freaking even let you use my recorder. I have a little like hand recorder. It's like the baby version of this one. It's like $100 and it's killer audio. You could literally put that in the middle of the table. It might be better. It might be not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
because I think that's part of the cool part too is it kind of just gives me something to work towards.
Right.
Because if somebody just snapped their fingers like here's all the stuff and just do the podcast, it's not as much of a project, I guess.
Right.
And you know this the best. Like the best part is kind of the journey, trying to figure it out and stuff.
Well,
and so
it's going through trial and error,
right?
Figuring
and so
it out.
it's fun right now. But I mean, we've only put out 3 episodes, and I think last time I looked, we have like 87 listens.
That's
so
cool.
It's decent.
That's like exciting. Like to me, I'm like, if anybody's listening to like these ones, I'm like ecstatic. Let alone like 80. That's crazy.
It was really cool when you texted me and you listened to it for the first time, and I was like, this is awesome. I got the rush that you always get when you post stuff.
I told Jackson that he needs to. I'm waiting for the merch.
The merchandise, yeah. Maybe once we pass a certain threshold, we'll get some merch.
I agree. Okay. Well. Oh wait, you didn't even answer it. Okay, so
what was the question?
So
what's next?
What's
podcast?
What's next? What do you got for summer?
I'm gonna go to California and visit my girlfriend's family for the first time. That's scary.
Girlfriend. Is she from California?
Yeah, she's from LA.
How long has she been here for? Is she here for school?
A couple years. She goes to BYU.
Okay, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Where in California?
LA.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Her family lives there, so I'm gonna go there and.
Joy wants to meet her. She says, "Tell Sage," and she said, "I miss Sage. We need to hang out."
Yeah.
But we were saying we should go get like Bombay or like go get some food.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. We'll double date or something, or get the whole crew together because I haven't seen a lot of people for a while.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
We
should do like classic
cozy,
crew, just kind of either cozy or like a bonfire in the desert.
Oh yeah.
That's like when I think of like hanging out with you guys, it's always like in the desert, just great company, everybody just laughing and.
Yeah, I know for sure we'll hit Causey. We'll for sure hit like San Hollow, St. George trip. Maybe go down to Vegas or something. Bonfires.
Yeah, so that I guess. Oh, and I'm gonna go skydiving this summer. I'm planning it. I'm gonna do it.
Can I go with you?
Sure.
Oh shoot.
I'm gonna do it within the next few weeks because I've been wanting to do it forever, and I'm finally gonna make it happen.
It's like $100, right?
No.
Oh wait, what?
No.
How much is it?
Like $250.
What?
It's right around the average is like 200, 215 or something. But then with like if you want any type of photo or video package, it's not like $60.
Oh,
because they won't let you have.
Gotta have video. Yeah.
You gotta have the proof, right? So right around like 250,
dude,
give or take.
I want to come. That's one thing that I'm like, how the freak have I not done skydiving? Like,
same.
Out of everything, I'm like,
always said I wanted to, and I just haven't done it.
Skydiving something like I would love to get certified and like be able to, because I have a buddy. He's on my list.
Which one?
Spencer.
Shout out to Spencer. You want to hook us
up? Shout out to my boy Spencer. Dude, he's like, I think he said that he's jumped 300 times. He's been playing with like wingsuits and stuff. But the videos on his Instagram are the dopest because he's just, it's like you're by yourself, like you're so comfortable and he just like falls out. Yeah. But he's done like out of the hot air balloons. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that is like, as someone that creates content, I'm like, that would be so fun. Yeah. So I just need to freaking like dedicate.
Well, I'll let you know the weekend we're planning on.
Yeah, seriously. Like I know Chandler wants to really bad too. Like we've both been like freaking book it. like man up.
Yeah, I have on my notepad at home. I went through and I called like 4 different places and I've just got all the prices and everything and I called them all and so it's just pinning down because Jackson's gonna do it with me for sure, Skylar for sure.
I was gonna say
and Sarah if she has the money, but so. We're just trying to pin down a weekend.
I wonder if you could do I bet you could do like some type of group package. Like
it depends on the place, but usually if you have at least 4, there's a little bit of a group discount, and if you have like 8, there's even more. So
let's do it. I'm sure we could get.
I'll let you know.
I'm sure we could get Cade or someone. Oh wait, no, Cade's going skydiving in Hawaii. He's going like next month.
Well, that tops wherever we're gonna go.
I think he's going in this month or June.
Man, where's Cade at? I haven't seen him forever.
He called me today.
Really?
He has got a new dog.
Oh, I saw that. He sent me pictures.
He told me to come over and look at it.
Well, we better end the podcast because we're talking about stuff people don't care about.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Last thing, what was it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I forgot. Well,
that's all right. Maybe you can edit all that out.
Yeah. Well, I think so. With all these stories, I'm like, maybe I'll start putting the video clips and photos. So I'm like, if you're on YouTube, you'll probably want to see that stuff, like the videos of the snake, the photos of the dogs.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll take some extra editing, but I feel like that's way worth it.
You can just put like links in the show notes to straight to your YouTube channel, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that might be easy.
Well, and that's what if just search the Davidson Simulation if you want to check out the YouTube. But yeah, let's wrap it up. We've done an hour and 45 minutes.
Man, time flies when you're rehashing old stories.
Okay, well, so this is episode 3. I'm not sure when episode 4 will come out, but it'll be out when it is.
Nice.
make sure to review
Thanks
it.
for letting me plug my stuff, dude.
Dude, I'm excited to see where it goes. Now you have people watching. You got
Yeah, I hope so. But honestly, dude, you're like the biggest inspiration for
that's what I was gonna say.
like that.
Before I finish, I wanted to wait to tell you until on the podcast, but you are an absolute content creator. Like I was telling Joy this. I'm like, I want to like give you one of my cameras just so I can like make you vlog and like because that's what I watched Jackson's
the Kauai video,
and that maybe that's for another time. But you were in Kauai during the missile threats.
Yeah, like a year ago.
Yeah, and just like watching those, like just watching you. I mean, it's even been in my vlogs too, where you're just so naturally gifted in front of a camera.
Dude, thanks. I appreciate you saying that because I don't feel like I have fun doing it, but I don't always feel like that.
But you like that's what's crazy is like you come off so natural at it, and that's what it's a podcast. That's what I was saying. Like when I was listening to it, I'm like, you're directing it so well. Like even though it's like you guys are just hanging out, like you do it so well, and I'm like, I don't care what you say. I'm like, you could kill it doing exactly what I'm doing.
Oh man, you're way too nice.
And I want to see it happen, Sage.
I really like, I love doing stuff like that. I think I just get in my own way because I get scared to put stuff out there because it's like internet is forever and like I'm afraid what people will think and stuff. And so I always just kind of get in my own way. But I always like try, I have the intention because I always have my GoPro and I'm trying to film stuff. And in Kauai, I had every intention of like making vlogs. So I had all the footage. Yeah. And then I just got too lazy to try to put something together and just get over that first barrier of figuring out the whole videography process. So I sent it to Jackson and he did it over the process of like a year and put it out. And he's like, dude, everybody, my first vlog. And everybody's like, looks like Sage's vlog. I'm like, well, I did a lot of the filming, but Jackson did all the work. So he should get all the credit.
Yeah. Well, and that's what like, I think, I don't know. I think about it all the time because I mean, there's a lot of people in this type of business where they've kind of done it, I think, for just because it's the thing, right? On Instagram. It's kind of
a new thing.
It's photography. Everyone wants to be a photographer now, because it's, everyone wants to be the guy in LA that's a YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, when I see you do it, I can like naturally see that you enjoy documenting it and talking to the camera. And like, you talk to a community that you don't have yet. Yeah. And that's important. That's a key because it's like you're talking to people that are going to be there. They're not there yet.
Eventually.
It's hard to explain. It's kind of like this podcast. There's literally, I have no one listening to it yet, right? But in my mind, I've already painted an image of an entire audience listening to it, And that's what, when I see you vlog, I see the exact same thing. So that's what.
Dude, thanks, man. That's seriously so cool coming from you.
Well, and that's why I was sitting there listening to your podcast. I'm going, holy freak! Like, Sage, get it going. Like, I want to be a fan.
Oh man, I'm
already a fan, but.
And you've got to know too. Like, I hope it doesn't get like too cheesy or whatever. But like, me and Jackson sit there and we're like worshiping all your stuff. We were watching your Yellowstone stuff the other day. Jackson came and showed me because I don't have Instagram.
Oh, the buffalo.
Oh my, that was the most. If any of you haven't seen the buffalo clip yet on your Instagram, that is one of the coolest clips I've ever seen. Like, we just watched it on loop. Okay, well for us, it's just, I don't know, just the vibe you create and kind of the overall aesthetic with everything. Even because I know you've been working on a lot of like sound design and everything.
Sound design and coloring.
Like, that is a huge game changer too, because just that clip, we watched it on loop for like 10 times in a row, and I was just like in awe because it just brings you into where you were.
Well, that's what's so crazy.
It was
like,
so cool.
When I was editing that, I'm like, I thought it was a cool clip, and even when I shot it, I was like, this will be cool. But like, it hit 12,000. I think it's coming up on 15,000 views. Yeah. And like, it's funny because it got to about 10,000 views. Once it hit 10,000 views, then I was like, okay, I'm going to promote it on Instagram, put some money towards it so it can keep the momentum. But now it looks like I just paid for it. Like this kid was like, he's like, your top most viewed post is a sponsored post on Instagram. And I was like, oh crap. I'm like, that's totally like, it makes sense. But yeah, it like hit like 10,000 views. And I was like, what the freak? Because before that, I think the highest one was like, 8,000 or something. But this one, just like totally, people were stoked on it. But
it's cool, man. It's inspirational. Like, you and your brother both, you guys are super, like, just so hardworking with getting stuff out there and like super inspirational.
Well, I mean, there's we've talked about it before, where it's like, it's not necessarily, I would say, a personality. Like, it's not like, oh, I have something that, you don't, or some one of our friends don't. There's nothing, it's not necessarily about a personality, but it's about clarity, and it's about like finding what you want to do, writing it down, figuring out a game plan, like you're saying, like with your podcast, like trial and error, what's working, what's not. And from there, you just make your way up the ladder, right? It's kind of like vlogging. Like when I first started vlogging, it was so weird and uncomfortable. Yeah. And now, like I made a 10-minute vlog up in Yellowstone, and I only used my big camera because I wanted to push myself to have a big camera in front of me. And it was perfect. It worked amazing. Yeah. And now I'm like, I don't want to pick up my small camera ever again because I want to make sure the quality is that quality, So it's like when I see you posting stuff like this, I'm like, it gets me so amped because I'm like, I can see it in you. You have that like entrepreneurship and like that passion for creating content and creating stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And that's like when I start seeing the podcast, like when you said that, I was like, no freaking way. I was so excited.
Man. Yeah,
that's my challenge for you, Sage, this summer.
It's a good challenge.
Is to create some content this summer and post it.
Okay.
Re-download Instagram and start liking my stuff again, please. I need all the engagement. Oh,
but it feels so liberating to not have social. I think there's a way I can do it where maybe I'll circle back around to it. But as of right now, I feel like I'm actually doing something and doing stuff, and not just as soon as I need a distraction or don't want to think about deeper stuff, I just go to my phone and start swiping.
Right.
And not everybody's like that, but
what works.
So it's been good, and I think there's a way to do it to kind of separate the two.
Well, that's and I'll wrap it up with this, but on the
fourth time you've said that. Sorry, I'll stop talking.
On the one with Ryan that we did, we talked about how Ryan deletes Instagram, all those type of apps during the day, and then if he'll give himself like an hour at night to use it or look at stuff. And I'm like, I've really thought about doing it where it's like, don't really use it during the day, and then use it at night to post something, and then kind of just bounce off, So there's definitely like a balance to it, and I think you're doing a good job at it.
You use it for your business, so it's different. For me, it's just like it's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I started gradually doing that too, where I deleted it for the week, and then I would re-download on the weekends and stuff. Right. But then it's crazy how it happens because it just starts. You just start
into
you. Yeah, you're just like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
And it's just after you get over that initial hump where you every 5 seconds you're like, where's my phone?
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta swipe, but then if it's not there, you're just forcing yourself not to do it. And eventually, and then I delete it for like a month and want to get it back, but then after a while you're just like,
yeah, you're just kind of,
I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything anymore. Yeah. And I feel better, and that's the only thing that's
important.
Really matters. So
okay, well, everybody make sure to go check out Sage's podcast. What's it called on iTunes and Spotify?
Would You Rather Roommate Edition. And
it's on Spotify and iTunes?
Yeah, it's on all of them. I go through Anchor, so it's Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts.
Sage killing
it. If you can't find it, it's just under my name, Sage Pemberton.
Okay. Sick. Well, if you've made it through, thank you. Make sure to, if you're on Spotify and iTunes, I think I'll be releasing these on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube. So whatever platform you're on, make sure to rate it the highest you can. 5-star, whatever. And if you want to leave a review, like feedback is amazing. Anything helps. And I think it probably helps like with the algorithm on all these platforms. But join the conversation. If you guys have comments or anything about Thailand or about soccer, anything, throw it in the comments section. Let us know. And we'll see you guys on episode 4. Thanks for joining me, Sage.
Thanks, man. This was fun.
Yeah. Peace out, guys.